You think the NBA's just about rings and records? Think again. Some of your favorite players have been accused of rape, abuse, even murder. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal was one of the most dominant players the NBA has ever seen. But at home, he was a disaster. In 2011, divorce papers exposed what Shaq had been hiding for years. He was blowing over $20 million a year, not just on houses and cars, but on other women. His wife, Shawnee, didn't just catch him cheating. She uncovered a web of affairs so deep, she said she stopped counting. Some women had been in his life for years, thinking they were exclusive. They weren't. But it gets darker. During Kobe Bryant's rape case in 2003, prosecutors reportedly looked into calling Shaq as a witness, not because he did anything to Kobe, but because he had a pattern of paying women to stay quiet after threesomes and affairs. Yeah, that almost became public testimony. It wasn't just locker room gossip. These stories were in legal documents. And when Shawnee found out, she didn't just leave. She burned the whole thing down. Full custody. $10 million in the settlement. And she never looked back. Shaq later wrote, "I was a bad husband. But that's not an apology. That's a confession with no consequences." His kids watched their family fall apart in real time. The commercials kept playing. The league said nothing. And Shaq kept smiling for cameras. Hey, do me a favor. Tap like and subscribe so you never miss an epic NBA story we break down. Next up, Allen Iverson. By 2002, Allen Iverson wasn't just the face of the NBA. He was its soul. But behind the braids, tats, and MVP banners was a man living through a nightmare. That year, police arrested Iverson after he reportedly barged into an apartment with a gun, looking for his wife, Tawana. Witnesses said he threw her out of the house naked, then stormed the streets of Philly searching for her with heat on his hip. The charges were dropped, but the damage stuck like blood in the carpet. Iverson denied it all, but the cracks were already deep. He was gambling millions in Atlantic City, blowing through club nights, watches, and entourages at a pace even NBA vets called reckless. In total, he earned over $200 million, but by 2012, he was broke, officially filing for bankruptcy while still trying to maintain the illusion. What made it worse? His best friend, a guy he called R.A., was murdered during those years. Iverson never recovered. He didn't just lose money. He lost the one person who kept him grounded. By the end, he was asking friends for gas money. His kids saw their dad go from MVP to empty fridge. The only thing that saved him was Reebok. A $32 million trust fund set for release in 2030, the last safety net for a man the NBA used up and left behind. Next, Stephon Marbury, China's king, America's ghost. In 2009, Stephon Marbury hit rock bottom, and he did it live, on webcam. Millions watched, horrified and confused, as the former all-star sat shirtless, sweating, and eating Vaseline on camera while ranting about God, death, and betrayal. He was crying, yelling, laughing, and then silent, all in the same stream. This wasn't entertainment. It was a man unraveling in real time. Viewers thought it was a joke, until they realized it wasn't. Marbury had made $151 million in the league. But behind the cash were lawsuits, depression, and whispers of a mental breakdown. Knicks fans remember the chaos. Locker room fights, screaming matches with Isaiah Thomas, and rumors he slept with a teammate's girl. He went from franchise leader to team pariah. By the time he landed in court, he broke down crying in front of a judge, sobbing, "I'm not a crazy person." But by then, nobody in the NBA wanted him. Not even for free. The league tossed him aside, but China opened its arms. In Beijing, Marbury became a national hero. Statues, championships, even a goddamn museum in his name. The same man mocked for Vaseline is now worshipped like Jordan overseas. Next up, Derrick Rose. In October 2016, Derrick Rose wasn't chasing a ring. He was fighting for his name in a Los Angeles courtroom, facing a $21 million civil rape lawsuit. A woman known only as Jane Doe accused Rose and two of his friends of breaking into her apartment in August 2013 and gang raping her while she was unconscious. The details were brutal. Texts, timelines, and alcohol-fueled inconsistencies. But what shook the public wasn't just the accusation, it was Rose's own words on the stand. When asked if he understood consent, he responded, "We men. You can assume." The room went silent. So did the media. The NBA didn't suspend him. The Knicks kept playing him. But behind the scenes, the league held its breath. The Bulls had already traded him in 2016, and after the trial, the Knicks quietly let him go. No statement. No goodbye. Just a fading star in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. A jury eventually sided with Rose. But that trial buried the version of him the world once knew. Derrick Rose went from the youngest MVP in NBA history to a man fans didn't know how to cheer for. And even now, no team, no city, no brand ever treated him the same again. Next, Karl Malone. In 1983, Karl Malone was 20 years old when he impregnated a 13-year-old girl named Gloria Bell in Summerfield, Louisiana. Let that sink in. She was still in middle school. He was a college basketball star. Legally, this was statutory rape, but Malone was never charged. Instead, he denied he was the father. And when a paternity test proved he was, he still refused to pay child support, saying the $125 per week was too much. The case was quietly settled out of court. The child, Demetrius Bell, grew up completely abandoned. No visits. No apologies. Not even a phone call from the man who helped create him. Bell went on to play in the NFL, an elite athlete, just like his father. But he did it without Malone's name, money, or help. The NBA kept celebrating Malone as the mailman, while his real-life son was raised by a single mother who got nothing but silence. In 2008, under media pressure, Malone finally admitted Demetrius was his son. But by then, Bell wanted nothing to do with him. The damage had been done. And for fans who once cheered Malone's every dunk, that nickname, the mailman always delivers, now sounds less like a badge of honor and more like a punchline to a disturbing truth the league tried to bury. Dwight Howard. In 2019, Dwight Howard's career took a hit no highlight reel could fix. Allegations surfaced that he had been involved in a same-sex relationship with a man who claimed Howard threatened him after trying to leave. At the same time, photos of Dwight cross-dressing started going viral online. The internet exploded. The memes came fast, the mockery came faster, and most of it came from his own fanbase. Whispers turned into hashtags overnight. Howard had earned over $245 million in his NBA career. He had 8 children with 7 different women, and a public image tied to faith, masculinity, and power. But behind closed doors, his Lakers teammates mocked him, calling him soft, and questioning everything from his toughness to his truth. His Christian beliefs clashed hard with the rumors, and instead of addressing the situation with honesty or clarity, Howard posted cryptic denials that only made the fire worse. Rather than control the story, he became the story. And while he stayed in the league, his reputation never fully recovered. For a player once known as Superman, the cape had fallen, and no one was sure what was real anymore. Lamar Odom. On October 13, 2015, Lamar Odom was found unconscious at the Love Ranch brothel in Nevada, overdosing on a cocktail of cocaine, herbal Viagra, and alcohol. He was in a coma for 4 days. Doctors said he had 12 strokes and 2 heart attacks while in the hospital. His kidneys were failing. His lungs collapsed. He came inches from death, alone, in a legal whorehouse, surrounded by strangers and lies. That wasn't rock bottom. That was the basement under it. Odom had earned over $115 million during his NBA career. He was a 2-time champion with the Lakers, 6th Man of the Year, and one of the most gifted forwards of his generation. But behind the scenes, he battled a relentless crack cocaine addiction, spiraling deeper after the death of his infant son in 2006 and his father's passing shortly after. Teammates say he was never the same after that. His marriage to Khloe Kardashian became a reality TV circus. Paparazzi, cheating rumors, staged interventions. The show devoured his privacy, and the fame that once helped revive him only accelerated his collapse. By the time the overdose made headlines, Odom was already gone in spirit. He survived, but the league, the media, and the world had already moved on. Delonte West. In September 2020, a video surfaced of Delonte West beaten unconscious in a Dallas parking lot, face swollen, body twitching, and screaming into the pavement. The man who once dropped 20 points on playoff defenses was now begging for change on street corners, shoeless and shattered. Fans were shocked, but this wasn't sudden. It was the final chapter of a tragedy that started long before the cameras ever caught him. West earned over $16 million in the NBA, but privately battled undiagnosed bipolar disorder, trauma, and the kind of emotional isolation no amount of money could fix. In 2010, rumors spread like wildfire that he had slept with LeBron James' mother. Gossip that never got confirmed, but destroyed his career anyway. His contract value tanked. Locker rooms turned cold. He became the punchline of a scandal he may not have even caused, and the league let him drown in it. Mark Cuban tried to help, personally picking West up from a gas station and paying for his rehab. But within months he relapsed. 1 year later, he was found wandering shirtless in the rain, confused, mumbling, unable to remember his own name. Delonte West wasn't just failed by the system. He was devoured by it. Next, Eddie Griffin. On August 17, 2007, Eddie Griffin slammed his SUV into a freight train at full speed, drunk, high, and allegedly masturbating to porn playing on his dashboard DVD player. The crash was so violent, his body burned beyond recognition. The only way they confirmed it was him was through dental records. The final 911 call said it all. "He's not moving, he's burning." Griffin was a 7-foot phenom with lottery pick potential and a $16 million upside. But alcohol clung to him like a shadow. Teammates said he smelled like vodka at morning practices. Some coaches tried to help, others looked away. He bounced from Houston to Minnesota, to nowhere. All 3 teams eventually gave up on him. At one point, the Timberwolves tried to hide his drinking by listing undisclosed personal reasons on injury reports. Everyone knew. Nobody acted. He was only 25 years old when he died. No family by his side. No teammates at the scene. Just a rising star, blown off the tracks while chasing demons no one wanted to face. Next, Chris Washburn. In September 1989, Chris Washburn made NBA history, but not for points or rings. He became the first player ever banned for life due to cocaine. Just 3 years earlier, he was the number 3 overall pick in the 1986 NBA draft, signed to a $1.2 million deal, and expected to anchor a franchise. But he only played 72 games total before his addiction swallowed his career. The league gave him chance after chance. He failed every drug test like it was clockwork. Washburn wasn't just talented, he was a physical force. But by his second season, he couldn't stay clean long enough to suit up. The Warriors cut him. The Hawks took a shot. Everyone gave up. Years later, whispers surfaced about his time at NC State. Allegations of point shaving, illegal cash payments, and academic fraud. Nothing was ever proven, but the stain stuck. When Washburn's name hit courtrooms instead of box scores, his mother wept and said, "Basketball was his life, but it wasn't enough. Not against the drugs. Not against the silence." Washburn's fall wasn't just personal. It was the first public warning shot of a league fighting a drug crisis it didn't want to admit existed. Next, Lorenzen Wright. On July 19, 2010, a chilling 911 call came from Lorenzen Wright's phone. The operator heard gunshots, then silence. Days later, his decomposed body was found in the woods outside Memphis. He'd been missing for over a week. A 14-year NBA veteran, $55 million in career earnings, gone like a ghost. No witnesses. No suspects. For years, it looked like just another cold case. But in 2017, the truth surfaced. His ex-wife Shara Wright had plotted the hit, allegedly paying her cousin Billy Turner nearly $1 million from Lorenzen's life insurance policy. 7 years after the murder, both were finally arrested. 6 kids lost their father. Lorenzen's name faded from NBA highlight reels to true crime podcasts. And the insurance money? Still tangled in lawsuits. Wright's final assist didn't happen on the court. It was a phone call during his murder, and nobody answered in time. Tyreke Evans. In 2010, Tyreke Evans looked unstoppable, averaging 20-5-5 his rookie year, joining LeBron and MJ in elite territory. But by May 17, 2019, his entire NBA career vanished with one sentence. Dismissed and disqualified for violating the NBA's anti-drug program. The league didn't say what substance. No trial, no appeal. Just a phone call, and Evans was banned for life. By then, he'd made $42 million, but the money didn't last. China gave him a shot, then dropped him too. Overseas teams blacklisted him like poison. His agent said it best. He threw away generational wealth. He threw away his family legacy. No press conferences. No jersey retirement. No second chances. Tyreke disappeared from the league the same way he came in, fast, quiet, and unforgettable. Next, Kevin Johnson. In 1995, NBA All-Star Kevin Johnson was accused of molesting a 16-year-old girl. She said he groped her in his home while she cried. Johnson settled for $230,000. No charges, no trial. But it didn't end there. He became Sacramento's mayor, praised for saving the Kings from relocation. Then in 2015, a second accuser came forward, triggering an FBI investigation. More disturbing footage surfaced. Johnson coaching teenage girls shirtless, asking for trust exercises involving lotion. His political career collapsed overnight. He resigned as mayor, his legacy scorched. His wife, education reformer Michelle Rhee, stayed. But the public didn't. From all-star to mayor, to national disgrace. Next, Robert Swift. By 2012, former NBA lottery pick Robert Swift was found squatting in his own foreclosed mansion. A $1.5 million property now filled with beer cans, used needles, and mold. Drafted 12th overall in 2004 by the Sonics, he was hyped as the next Dirk. But Swift's body broke down, his will crumbled, and drugs took over. The mansion? Foreclosed, trashed, and surrounded by police reports. One neighbor said, "It looked like a giant homeless man moved in with a shotgun." Seattle called him the franchise's final mistake. Before Clay Bennett stole the team to Oklahoma. A ghost of promise, left behind in an empty house. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.